Hey, it's Lisa. Today, I want to talk about my money story. I'm on a journey to help women build wealth, stop budgeting, and spend guilt-free. And this has been a journey for me. Today, I'm 43 years old, and my money story has been full of highs and lows. And I want you to hear that there's a money coach out there that knows what it's like to be in your shoes today. And I've done some things to get myself to a new position in a new life. And I'm here to share with you how I've done that. Be open, honest, and vulnerable. I didn't get it perfect and I didn't get it right all of the time. And that's why I'm on my mission today, is that I want to be relatable. I want you to hear that there's someone that understands what you're going through. And I hope that that person is me today. So let me start with my journey throughout the course of my 30s. I went through a divorce in 2017. I sold a home that I absolutely loved when my son was 8 years old, and it was heart-wrenching. I've gone in and out of credit card debt my entire adult life. And I started my company in 2017 to be a new voice in this industry to say, hey, you know what? We may not be perfect all the time. We may not get it right all the time. We can rebuild and be stronger than where we are today. That's possible for you. I believe it's possible for you. And today I'm going to share with you how I've done it for me. Just to back up a little bit to give you an idea of where I come from, I was born and raised in Las Vegas, right across the street from the North Las Vegas airport. Right now it's called the Northwest Preservation Area. And back then it was literally dirt roads as far as the eye could see. Vegas wasn't built out that far. My dad was a stagehand. He retired as a stagehand, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. Conversations in my household about money were there's never enough money. We don't have enough money. And when we did get to splurge on things, we all knew that it was an important experience and that we had to be grateful for it because it didn't come around all the time. We took vacations as a family, but I never really went outside the borders of California and Utah. I was never on a plane until probably fourth or fifth grade. I never was on a plane, and I never took a plane ride with my parents or my family. We drove where we needed to go. We had road trips. We had great memories as a family, but we weren't living the high life, that's for sure. What I knew about money growing up was very little. We didn't have household conversations about the stock market. My parents weren't telling me things like invest in myself. I thought growing up that I was pretty much destined to be a stay-at-home mom. And I remember my pamphlet from my senior year in high school said, I'm going to have 4 kids. And that was pretty much my ambition in life. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Knowing what I know now about myself and how I want my life to be today, that definitely was a story that was written for me that I believed that I had to have the courage to rewrite. How does this relate to money? I was very limited in my belief and ideas about how I was going to earn money growing up. And as an adult, my dad, like I said, he was a stagehand. He was a part of the union growing up here in Las Vegas. And we heard things from my dad like, don't take a management position. Don't work harder than you have to. Just show up for work, do the right thing, and go home to your family. Your family is the most important thing. There were no conversations about ambition, being millionaires, building businesses, none of that. So when I got to college and I took a look around at the world around me, I was mind blown. And I was totally outside of my comfort zone. I was around kids that were driving BMWs who had a lot more than I did, girls with name brand clothing. And in that moment, I really didn't understand the concept of what money could give me. I always thought like our needs were met growing up. But going to college was a huge awakening for me and also a huge ramping up of my not worthy conversation. I'm going to stop there in my story because I think it's important to point out that for you too, if you're challenging beliefs and ideas that you have for your own life, you also have a money story and you have a money journey. In my book, Girl, Get Your Shit Together, I walk you through exercises where you can get in touch with your own money story. Why is that important? Because you can identify beliefs and decisions that you've made for yourself that you're going to need to bust through if you want a new future financially. Sometimes you don't even know why you keep hitting your head up against the wall. Everything that happens to us in our life before the age of 7 gets imprinted into our subconscious, our unconscious mind. And 95% of our decisions, our purchasing decisions, come from our unconscious activity in the brain. Did you know that? So if you don't know what your money story is, if you don't know what your beliefs are, you could be repeating patterns over and over and over again. Even if you have a dream or even if you want more money, you can't figure out how to make it happen. It's not your fault, and today it is absolutely your responsibility. I share my story pretty openly and publicly because I want people to know that I didn't grow up around money. I love talking about money today, probably for that reason, and I've seen for myself how I've had to challenge myself, my own beliefs, my own behaviors with money to get new results. I've gone through the cycle of debt over and over and over again. In my 20s, coming from the not worthy conversation, I drove to college this car. It was like this silver, maybe gold 240 Nissan SX. I paid $1,700 for it, and it looked like the DeLorean. It was hilarious. I actually got made fun of, and I'm short. I'm 5 foot tall. I had to sit on back in the day when you used phone books, I had to sit on a phone book to drive my car to college. And so, that builds character, right? But also I got made fun of a lot for that. And I never wore name brand clothing growing up. That was never something that we did as a household. I had a lot of hand-me-downs growing up. So I go to college. The first outfit that I wore to college, I got at the thrift store. I don't remember exactly what thrift store it was. And I was really proud of the outfit, but then I look around and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a duck out of water, fish out of water, whatever you call it. So I got a credit card and I started charging my credit card up to get name brand clothes, to find that worthiness, to fill that unworthy conversation. And it got me in a lot of trouble at a young age with credit cards. Slowly, I learned how to pay them off. I had this one Capital One credit card, I think, until my 30s that just never seemed to get paid down. It took some hard lessons for me financially to figure out how to manage my money in a new way. And the one thing, as I became a financial advisor, which is something that did not happen in my family, I had to lean into a new way of thinking about money. And the one thing that turned my entire financial relationship around, my entire money story around, was I actually stopped budgeting. This is exactly what I teach in my world today. What are your beliefs? How do they impact the behaviors that you have financially? If you want a new result, you're going to have to try to do new things. You're going to have to do new things. And for me, the stop budgeting system altered the way that I managed my money, and it has for the rest of my life. In my marriage, it makes a huge difference. My husband, guess what? He's got a money story too. He's been in and out of debt his entire adult life. For us to get out of debt, we've had to learn how to spend money in a new way, how to leverage our talents. I've had to lean into uncomfortable conversations to grow my business. It's all working out for us, and it has not always been easy. You have a money story, and if you're looking for new results, maybe you've been in that cycle of debt over and over and over again, or maybe you just can't seem to get over the hump of a certain amount of money in savings. It's likely you have unconscious beliefs that are impacting the choices that you're making, and it's really important that you confront your money story and you look at what beliefs could be stopping you from having what you want. How do you do that? Well, step number 1, look back at your childhood. Not from a place of trauma and rehashing those kinds of things, but pay attention to what your parents or those who raised you, what did they say about money? For me, I heard the old adage, like a lot of you, money doesn't grow on trees, right? Well, what does that really mean? And when it came to getting out of debt, my dad, the only advice I ever got from him was, it's a lot harder to fill a ditch than, once you dig a ditch, you can't fill it as easily. And I'm like, what does that mean? What do you mean by that, right? That's a great tool. You got to learn how to use it strategically. But look back at what your parents said about money, because for me, not having enough, not feeling like I had enough, not feeling worthy, those beliefs about myself were all impacting the choices that I was making. I didn't feel like I was deserving of a lot of money. This one thing my mom said still challenges me today. And she used to tell me, she still does, God love her, she's in her 70s today, and she says, you don't need money to be happy. If that's a true belief that I have, if I instill that belief and own it as myself and believe that I don't need money to be happy, no wonder I can't have any money, right? I've confronted that belief. I've overcome that belief. I've transformed that belief. Not that it can't bring me happiness. It's that I don't need it to be happy, and it also helps me do a lot of cool shit in my life. Like take my family on a dream vacation to Alaska, which there is a video about that here on my channel that you can watch about all the ways that we use money to have happy experiences and create happy memories. So by looking back at your own money beliefs and money story, you can pinpoint ways that you might be off your path, off course. You can confront those beliefs, you can transform them. A good money coach can help you do that as well, who knows how to help you break through limiting beliefs and limiting decisions to get to the other side. For me, it was stop budgeting, this whole system that I teach, learning how to spend money freely, learning how to put money in savings and keep it there. Now my family has the ability to spend money. We do have credit card debt sometimes. We pay it off, no big deal, right? I hope that I am a balanced voice in the money industry for you. And by sharing some of the pieces of my money story, you can learn today for yourself that your money story doesn't have to be your money future, but it is important that you take a look at it. Going through my divorce in 2017 was really hard, and it really challenged a lot of beliefs that I had. The number one belief that I had around money and success was that I didn't believe at that time that I could be successful without a man in my life. Where did that come from? My mom was a stay-at-home mom. Her mom was a stay-at-home mom. I learned that I, as a woman in the world, had to be successful with a man by her side. Today, having been through a divorce and now remarried, I have the most amazing man by my side, and he is not the reason that I'm successful today. I am. That's a belief that I wasn't born with. I've had to work for it. That's another great example as a part of my money story where I've just learned how to confront these things, break through them, get coaching. I do work with coaches for this exact same reason, because my beliefs, I need to break through just like you do. I hope that this conversation has been helpful in identifying potentially where to start for you looking at your own money story. Like I said, my book, Girl, Get Your Shit Together, is a great way to plug in and start asking powerful questions about where your money story came from. I tell my whole story in that book also, and it's a great way for you to get started on a new money journey today. You've got a money story. If you don't like the results that you have in your life today, let's change the story, and I'm on a mission to help you do that.